I know. We've spoken about Bitcoin a couple of times here on the show, but to be honest with you, it's still, I'm still very confused about it. That's why I really appreciate Javier Murillo, CEO of Metrics Digital, joining us this morning. Javier, let's just start with the basics.
Yes.
Can you explain again what Bitcoin is? Cryptocurrencies.
Cryptocurrencies are based on the future. Any money, yeah, okay.
Oh, hush your mouth.
I thought that was plastic.
Yeah.
You know Satoshi Nakamoto?
Satoshi, the founder.
Yes, the founder of Bitcoin.
Or rather, the alias of the founder.
Or the
alias
scoundrel. Or
and
the
maybe the first trillionaire in the world.
Really?
Yeah, because Bitcoin is growing so fast.
But it sounds like I wake up one morning and I decide I'm going to have my own currency,
Yeah.
and I figure out a way to make it a currency using internet,
Yeah.
and now I'm rich. Is that kind of the explanation?
What
Why is
about the money
everybody-
that we use right now?
Right.
It's
Well-
based on the dollar. Okay?
Well, it's backed by governments. It's backed by something.
Yeah.
What is
The
Bitcoin
good faith
backed?
and credit of the United
Good
States.
faith and
or
credit
That's
of
why
Donald
I'm
Trump.
talking about future.
No, the United States.
That's why I am talking about the future.
Right.
Because of blockchain.
Yes.
Okay, so why don't you lay it out for us? What's important about what we just heard, and why is blockchain important?
Blockchain is important not only in cryptocurrency, but for example, the genome. Yeah.
The human genome?
The human genome, okay, which we are all going to be able in the future to share our human genome
Right.
with the companies in order to have more health or whatever
Right.
you're
So
going
You're
to
going to be
do.
able to design the medicines according to our genes. Okay.
Yeah, but
what does that have to do with blockchain?
Exactly.
you have to share information.
Okay.
So it's the same with money.
But if I understand correctly,
Yeah.
this is what I'm trying to get, is the advantage is that there's no way someone can hack Bitcoins. I mean, you can't grab Bitcoins and just hack it. That's
Yeah.
why everybody trusts Bitcoins.
Because it's all in the history of the chain,
Right.
of the block. Okay, so in order to be secure, security is based on the private information and the public information. So, but you can trace all the history of that information.
So it's basically a list.
It's basically
transactions.
a database of
Databases.
transactions.
And it's distributed among
Okay.
millions and millions,
Millions
of
of
computers.
computers.
The
yeah.
reason we're paying so much attention to Bitcoin is you can buy things. They're going to be on exchanges. I mean, it's now truly behaving like a
Yeah.
currency, right?
That's the thing. If tomorrow Satoshi Nakamoto,
Right.
whomever he is, comes out and he sells all his bitcoins
Right.
to the world, he's going to be a trillionaire. Because you can, right now, what techies or geeks did is that right now you can give a dollar value
Right.
for a bitcoin.
Right.
Okay? So if he comes out and he sells everything, he's going to be able to able to have more money than Mark Zuckerberg or Carlos Slim.
Okay, let me just so what is happening here in Mexico? Because they're actually going to legislate the use of Bitcoin in Mexico?
Actually, the Senate already passed the law,
The Fintech law.
the Fintech law. Right now is
They sent it to the lower house.
the
They
lower
sent
house
of
right now is
Representatives?
in the lower house. The thing is that they're gonna postpone it until 2018.
Oh, I'm glad.
So they
because
didn't pass Fintech.
No, they didn't.
No, they
pass
didn't
it.
pass it.
Yeah.
We've had a number of people here on the
Right.
program actually speak in favor of doing a fintech law because it is
Right.
the future, right?
Yeah, the future. Not only. Remember that AI is also growing.
Right.
And
Artificial intelligence.
Artificial intelligence, yeah. And what is happening is that, for example, crowdfunding. Okay, I go into some of these portals and I ask for money.
Right.
Where do you put that money? Who
Bitcoin.
gave you that money?
I know.
Okay.
Okay.
So they have to legislate that.
Okay, Javier, you're
to
going to have
this
to
is
come
net
back. You're going to have to
neutrality?
come
Yeah,
back
no,
on
no,
this.
he's staying
I
with
know.
us.
You're going to have to come back on the show just to talk about this. But there's another topic we
Okay.
want to address with you. So stay where you are, because the debate in the United States in regards to net neutrality has gained currency over the last years. But what does net neutrality actually mean? Let's watch.
Net neutrality rules classify high-speed internet as a public utility. The goal is to ensure consumers have open and equal access to all content on the internet. Here's how it works. When you download content from the internet, it arrives in packets of data. Think of the packets as literal packages. Let's say you want to watch a Netflix movie, which is 10 packages big. First you order, but before Netflix ships, those packages have to go through a sorting facility. In this analogy, that's an internet service provider, like Verizon or Comcast. Now, what net neutrality means is that all packages must be delivered at the same rate. And currently, there are FCC rules in place to make sure that happens.
So we're continuing our discussion with Javier Murillo. He's CEO of Metrics Digital. Javier, so we were talking about Bitcoin and all of the different security issues that were going on. Related to the internet is this decision to basically do away with net neutrality.
Yeah.
Net neutrality was fundamental from many standpoint.
Right.
This idea that if you are an internet service provider, you have to give equal footing to all data,
Right.
independent of where it comes from.
Yes.
Correct?
Right.
What does this mean for users in the United States? Because this has not happened in Mexico.
No,
correct?
but and everything that happens in the United States eventually comes to Mexico.
Not Trump.
It backfires to us. Okay.
Well, maybe.
Yeah, but maybe.
Anyway, but what?
He
Okay,
did
so
come
why
to
is this
Mexico.
important?
Because ISPs or Internet Service Providers, they're going to be able to control the content. Let me give you an example.
Okay.
Okay. Right now, Netflix doesn't have an Internet Service Provider behind them. Okay. But Telmex with Infinitum, they have Claro Video.
Right.
Okay? So right now, Telmex can make a decision and block or slow
Okay.
Netflix. Okay?
Okay.
And they don't have to ask. They only have to tell you that they are doing that.
So the problem is that any communication or internet services company,
Yeah.
what would happen is they can decide what you
watch.
can access and what you watch.
And they
Is
can
that-
redirect your searches. So
Yes.
if I'm looking for one specific restaurant, but it turns out that this company has more interest in my going to another restaurant,
right.
and when I look for that particular restaurant that I was looking for, they
Right.
redirect me to the restaurant that they'd prefer.
Or that they can make you to use Bing or Chrome.
All of these search
But-
engines.
but
Search engines,
the
yeah.
problem is, this is happening in the United States.
Yeah.
And what Obama had done, had signed a decree.
in 2015.
But they
basically,
repeal it.
But
Yeah.
what happened
Yes.
this week is that they repealed it. And there has been a lot of concern being expressed by those who are concerned what's going on happening in the United States, but just freedom of expression and making sure that everybody has access to sufficient internet so that you can be able to have access to all the information. So let me ask you this: do you think that there's going to be a movement in Mexico to do something similar?
Actually, I think it's going to begin in the U.S.
Okay.
Right now, there are a lot of angry people over there.
Right.
So
But who's angry? It's just the
Users.
voters, users.
Users, yeah.
Okay.
And Netflix.
Because the companies.
Netflix.
I saw the
yeah,
tweet.
companies are pretty happy. I mean, the internet companies, and they're applauding
and the
this.
giants, for example, Facebook, they're happy
Why?
because they have deals with internet service providers. They give you for free Facebook right now in your phone and WhatsApp. So what they're doing is they're making this. Remember that Zuckerberg told us that he would like to have free internet for the world.
So the internet providers are colluding with the content providers, and the content providers, by colluding, they are going to get more powerful.
And they're going to block whomever startup wants to go and take the market.
So if you want to create your own, social network, there's going to be ways of controlling that.
For example, if this was the story in like 10 years ago, Facebook couldn't be here.
Right.
Okay.
Really?
Yeah,
Yeah.
we might actually, instead of Facebook, we might still have, what was that called?
Google Plus or
Google
whatever.
Plus, or
yeah.
one of the many that actually failed on the way.
Right. Oh my
Interesting.
God. Right.
So this changes everything. So now, what is this Obama appointee? Correct.
Mm-hmm.
It was President Obama who put this guy in the FCC, if I remember correctly.
Right.
And this is the guy Sajid. Is his name?
Sajid, yeah.
Right.
He is the one who has been pushing for the repeal.
He's gone certifiably
Remember,
crazy.
he comes from Verizon.
Right.
Okay.
Okay. He was originally a lawyer for Verizon.
Yeah.
Right.
And now he basically was the one pushing for the end of net neutrality. What is his argument? Why is he saying that it's a good thing?
Because what he says is that it wasn't fair for the companies, for the ISPs,
Right.
to be blocked by title number 2,
Right.
which is the title that gives them the ability to be fair in the internet.
So
okay?
basically, he's protecting the ability of these big companies
Yeah.
to have access to
do what they want.
to get more revenue. Because ultimately, if you want to have access to all this content, the bottom line is you're going to have to pay for it, right?
And internet, it's also going to the connection. It's going to be more expensive.
Right. The reason why I said he's gone crazy, I don't know if we don't have
Yes.
it, but he posted on Facebook
A crazy video, yeah.
this video where he's doing all these.
He's trying to be
he's trying to be
or-
funny.
I don't understand.
But he's a regulator.
But he's a
Yeah.
regulator,
Yeah.
and it is quite outrageous. I mean, people are starting to question whether
he's okay.
Whether
Yeah.
he's
of course,
okay.
we've been questioning whether people are okay since
Yeah.
November 8th. So you see this? Is this going to come to Mexico? Do we have net neutrality laws in Mexico? Are they being safeguarded?
Actually, what I was thinking of yesterday, writing a column I was saying that it's right now it's a time for Telmex or for the ISPs in Mexico
Okay.
to speak up, okay?
Okay.
And to say we're going to do something about this rule or this law, because you know that laws come very slow for internet, okay?
Right.
So the thing is that if you can, as a company, as an ISP, tell us or give us confidence that you're not gonna block our content, it would be a very good marketing strategy.
How many internet service providers are there in Mexico?
I really don't know, but
Big ones?
the big ones are
Probably about
like 5.
Four or five?
five.
Okay.
So that
and-
allows for a certain amount of competition.
Yeah.
And by the way, and I mean, I don't know if they're saying this tongue in cheek or if they're being facetious, but the main internet service providers in the United States have said that they will not change the way that
come
they
on.
operate. What they're saying, I mean, I have to
Yeah.
say this, right?
Oh,
Because
the
we're
devil's
at the end of the day,
advocate.
we're
Okay,
anchors. What they are saying is that net neutrality existed before 2015, before these Obama era
Yeah.
regulations,
Right.
They're right,
and they're
yeah.
just going back to this. And what this is going to help to do is to increase competition and investment in the
Investment,
sector.
yeah.
That's what they're
Right.
saying.
That's-
You
Not
know
a big
who are
fan,
very-
but that's what they're saying.
Really afraid? The porn industry.
Porn industry.
Porn industry.
Why?
Because they're gonna be blocked.
Oh.
Okay.
Wow.
I know. I bet there's some boys and girls around in this room are just going, "Oh, don't mess with my porn websites." Is that the problem?
It's
No.
not-
Well, the thing is, it's a huge. I mean, about what is it? About 30% of internet
30%
use
of
Right.
has to do with
in the
porn.
90s, internet was for porn. Okay.
Yeah,
In
that
a
one.
big way,
Yeah,
of course,
yeah.
and it
That
was for
was
science and all
No, we
wonderful
did.
things,
No,
but yes.
come on.
Most of it
Javier.
was for porn, like 50%. yeah.
But so why would it mess with the porn websites? Because they'll be able to block them and
They're gonna be able to block them, and you're gonna have to pay.
to go into the porn
Yes.
websites because the porn websites want that, or because the
No,
internet.
because the
ISPs are
internet
gonna make
service
them pay.
providers
So
are
that's
gonna-
where they're
are
going to
gonna-
make their money.
Yeah.
Okay.
Actually, yes.
And given the fact that it's an area that's sort of shady for many people in the
You're
first
right.
place, then a lot of people aren't going to complain because they're not going to want to complain because then they'd be outed as people who consume porn.
So they're gonna
Right.
make people play for porn.
Oh,
pay
well,
for porn.
you know,
for play.
you have to
Yeah.
come. You have to come on the show later,
Pay for
maybe
play.
in a couple of weeks when we start talking about the elections, how they're using porn sites to be able to increase the likes and
that it's a
and the
whole
traffic,
industry.
the traffic
Yeah.
for all these websites. So that's a really interesting story.
And
So if-
retargeting and all that. Yeah.
So if you go into a porn website, you may be supporting a presidential candidate, which
Yeah,
I think is
that's
just hysterical. Anyway, promise me you'll come back.
Thank
Okay?
you very
Thank
much.
you very
Javier
Thank
Murillo.
you.
Have a
We're going to
wonderful
go
weekend.
to another commercial break, but don't go away. We've got much, much more ahead here in ADN 40 News.